It's more number one now?
Yes, well, it will be after we make the amendment.
Well, right. I didn't know if it was still going to be number two.
Nope, you're correct. Or it will be number one. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Green Bay Public Arts Commission.
Did you start the reading?
It is Wednesday, August 22nd, 2018. It is 8:02 a.m. We're in City Hall, room 604. Roll call, Ken Tutchison, I am here. Vice Chair Alex Zacharias.
Here.
Alderman Randy Scannell.
Present.
Matthew Buchanan.
Here.
And Tiffany Bowles.
Here.
Liaison Representative Stacy Minks. Not here. Beth Lemke.
Here.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve this agenda?
Motion to approve.
No.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, we can amend it after, whatever you want.
So,
Amend it first?
let's amend it first, yeah.
I make a motion to move regular business number 4, so that'd be D, number 4 to D1, and everything else down.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. So we've made the amendment. No other changes, so can I get a motion to approve this?
Motion to
augment?
approve the
Second.
amended agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from June 27th?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Very good. Okay, so that means our first item of discussion is on our paper handout, if you have it, it's number 4. Discussion with possible action on approval of the creation and establishment of a temporary series of painted pyramids to be placed on the empty rotating arch pads. Laura, do you want to enlighten us a little bit about this?
Yeah, so we've been having a lot of really great applicants to our rotating arts program. But what's happening is it's kind of getting gummed up on our end as far as not being able to cover insurance. Insurance is a big thing that's kind of halting the process, and it's not fair to the artists, and it's just not working out right now. But we got nice pads, we got nice locations, we don't have anything on them. So I wrote up a call for artists for a temporary series called Painted Pyramids. Basically, it would be a temporary place filler for these pads in the meantime until hopefully next spring or summer we can actually kind of get our ducks in a row and have the program the way that we want it to be. So, in a nutshell, the Painted Pyramids, staff would construct the pyramids using money from that $500 stipend we were originally going to give to the artists for their sculptures. So, the pyramids to construct cost about $150 to make, and then artists would receive the remainder of that to use for painting and embellishing them however they wanted to. So, you have the application in there that if it's approved, or depending on what we discussed today, I can send it out today. And then that would be up ideally for a month. Following that, during our next September meeting, you guys would vote on the winners, and then we would have them painted and ready by November. But also, Will is here today, and we got some good news.
Oh, hey.
Do we have to open the floor?
Yeah,
or-
we need to.
No, not for
Or
staff.
on staff,
Oh, well.
yeah, sorry.
Why are you sitting?
Because I bite.
Hey,
Because he bites, and he knows.
I know. So, Will, can you just introduce yourself?
Sure. Will Peters. I'm the neighborhood support specialist for the city of Green Bay. I work with all of the neighborhood associations in the city and also the Green Bay Neighborhood Leadership Council, where I sit as treasurer. Laura and I sat down yesterday with Cheryl to talk about this insurance issue because the GBNLC allots, it's not much, but every year in our budget we allot $5,000 for public art. And we wanted to see if that could help in any way. And we also thought, okay, well, you know, if the city's having a difficult time with the insurance, sometimes it's, I don't want to say easier, but there aren't as many hoops maybe for a nonprofit organization to jump in and alleviate that situation or cover that situation. And just, you know, through talking that out, we realized that, you know, this insurance issue really is really
Insurance is
sticky.
very expensive.
It's very expensive, and my jaw dropped when I heard, $10,000 deductible. I'm like, whoa, it's crazy. So, then we thought, okay, well, the issue seems to be that it's the rotating temporary. Isn't like the city doesn't claim ownership over these pieces. Well, what if, the city did own them? Or what if the city and the Green Bay Neighborhood Leadership Council came together and worked on this together with the PAC to make these permanent sculptures. So the city allots this year we allotted $50,000 for public art that could be used.
Where did that money come from again? Can you explain that?
Well, it's
CD.
Community Development Block Grant. It's federal grant dollars.
Right.
The stipulation with using this money is that it has to be either in a low to moderate income neighborhood, which is a lot of neighborhoods in Green Bay where we could use this money, or it has to benefit that demographic in some way. So to kind of give you a broader scope, we talked about using that $50,000 towards a program, kind of retooling this program so we have permanent sculptures where we're maybe adding a sculpture every year. The Green Bay Neighborhood Leadership Council, if we decide to use the $5,000 or maybe ask for more, that money could be towards paths in neighborhoods, and we could be working with neighborhoods as far as trying to find sculptures that they like, that they think represent their neighborhood. We could also ask the artist. It could be a requirement on the application. How does your piece involve the community or the neighborhood in developing it? Laura showed me the art piece that the CP Center is
This is a
doing.
very exciting annual grant application coming up.
Oh, sorry. Did I eliminate it?
No, it's
Let me show you
okay.
that. Okay, sorry. It's a really cool sculpture with these, tiny square, tin pieces that attach to this sculpture, and they're going to involve the members of the CP Center and the community to, manipulate that piece, roll over it with a wheelchair, hammer on it, bang on it, whatever, and then add it to the sculpture. And I think it's really neat. And then the mock-up of that sculpture is beautiful, I think. It's a great piece. So we thought that would be kind of a cool twist, and I know it really changes, and it changed the program in a big way in that it's not revolving anymore, rotating. But at the same time, it would be nice to get more permanent pieces.
Yeah.
And then as far as the ownership goes, well, then it's not an issue. Then it's, either the city is going to decide to insure it because it's theirs, or however that partnership looks like, or they just choose not to. I know the Green Bay Neighborhood Leadership Council worked with the city in the Life of the River walk on the Fox River, all those sculptures. That was a project with the Green Bay Neighborhood Leadership Council. And we just chose not to insure it, which is a risk that we were willing to take. And feel like if there was a sculpture that got damaged, well then, we'll make a GoFundMe or try to raise money to fix it if that would happen. But, it's really frustrating, I'm sure you all feel the same way, is when all of this preventative and what ifs really clog the path, the road, to getting, something done.
So you're proposing potentially either changing the rotating arts program from where it is now as a rotating one-year stint to a permanent collection. Or I think we could potentially just develop a new program that would act as the same thing.
Right.
So before we talk about that, let's establish a few precedents. How much would it cost to get insurance to cover the rotating arts program the way it sits now?
It's a $10,000 deductible through Willis. It's covered under their property in the open policy.
So it's just the 10,000 and it would pay up to whatever, or what?
That I'm not doing.
Okay, so that's would be an important thing, because if it's a $10,000 deductible, it would be like a $10,000 insurance policy essentially if they paid unlimited after that. Maybe not unlimited, but
Significant.
a significant amount. $10,000 is a lot. And at least we can say we have insurance on the work, you know, that potentially would satisfy that need from the artist. I don't know if we're gonna get around that. Like, I don't know if you guys can think of another thing, or this is an open discussion, but the problem that we're having is the artists need insurance if it's gonna be temporary. So, if it's not gonna be temporary, that means we're gonna have to be paying, like, I think Ned's piece is like $20,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
The pieces would cost more, but then they would stay with the community. They would stay here, which is nice if you get a really quality piece that people really enjoy. I could see people getting kind of bummed out after a year, like, oh man, where'd that go? Like, I really liked that, and now it's gone.
they can buy it too. Like the community can, maybe we should develop a pathway for a community to buy a piece, like through neighborhoods. That discussion could start with the president or something like that.
So let me understand, the city would buy from the artist the artwork on a permanent basis. So is that a win for the artist?
Potentially, yes.
So why are you worried about the community buying it?
I guess I'm not worried. I'm worried about this replacing the rotating arts program, because I feel like these are doing two different things. The rotating arts program benefits artists also by, potentially just selling to another vendor, and then that location's open again for them to put another piece of artwork or something. It creates a more dynamic type of gallery throughout the city, and people can expect that to change, so we can constantly be doing a bike ride or something like that once we have the paths housed by sculptures. That's my thought.
You like the temporary nature of it?
I do, yes.
And what if you had both?
That would be great. That's why I wonder if it sounds like.
This would be separate. This would be separate because really,
Okay.
what Laura and I would have to get together and develop a separate program
Okay.
because we would be using this $50,000 from the Community Public Block Grants. We'd have to write a program that would justify that.
So this wouldn't necessarily remove the rotating arts program or change it?
It wouldn't. It would be if, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It would just be, we were thinking, okay, if we can't get past the insurance part, then what are we gonna do with these pads? What's gonna happen?
Oh.
Well, let's just put permanent sculptures in those pads then if we can't get past the,
Yeah, I see a problem there though, because you're putting a permanent pad on a temporary, or your permanent sculpture on a pad designated for temporary sculpture. Like, that's no longer temporary sculpture pad area. So it would be kind of eliminating the infrastructure that we put forth for the rotating arts program. But I see no reason that we can't develop a new program and pour new pads.
right, yeah, I mean, there's money for that.
Yeah.
That's not a
Those
problem.
were relatively cheap, so.
And then we would, the ones that are able to be involved in the rotating would be artists that can afford the $10,000 deductible, is that?
Yeah, I mean, like, as a sculptor and many other professional artists have their own insurance, the insurance for the rotating arts program is for people and artists that don't have insurance, which a lot of the people that have applied so far don't have insurance.
I have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
So the $10,000 deductible, that only gets paid if there's damage.
Right.
So is there any costs if there's no damage beforehand?
Not that I know of. I haven't talked to Nate about it a little bit.
Okay. Have we also thought about signing an agreement with the artist, saying, if something were to happen, we understand that this is not insured, I'm taking this risk.
They would not sign it.
They wouldn't sign that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question for you, Beth. So what do you do with your sculpture outside? Is that
So,
an umbrella policy you have, or?
so the building through Brown County has one policy, and then there's a fine arts policy. The county renegotiated, I think, 2 years ago, so it's traveler's insurance that does that. So that comes out of that's part of my budget every year.
Okay.
And then in the case of the permanent pieces, they're covered under that. And then any temporary pieces, that's where we engage in that temporary loan form. So as soon as that temporary loan form is signed, whether it's outside the building or inside the building, it's covered for the duration of that exhibit or that display. And then when the time is up, it ceases. So, and the same thing with the temporary exhibitions that are traveling exhibitions, because they require crazy amounts of insurance. So once they hit our loading dock,
Yeah.
then they're covered, and then once they leave, so.
Okay,
But I work through all of that through Greg Gerber's and risk management.
Okay.
So he gets my schedule every year, and we have paperwork going back and forth. But
okay. What would you, so you're seeing the conundrum that we're kind of having with these pads.
there's always, people do stupid things, you know. Around the museum, you know, we've added security cameras that are, you know, monitoring 24/7 just because, you know, I don't like getting necessarily Instagram pings of people doing inappropriate things with the dinosaurs, which they have done. Luckily, we haven't had damage.
I never even thought of that.
Yeah, it's great. Luckily, we haven't had damaged pieces. But I think that's because, again, we have a building, parking lot versus it being an isolated piece. But again, the items on the trails haven't had any issues that
There was
I know
a
of.
fish that was bent over, and we had parks maintenance
it's
just come
been
over
a-
and
Bend it back.
bend it back.
And a
So-
little bit of graffiti,
A
but
little bit of graffiti.
that was.
You know, I could see the issue that if an artist in the temporary piece is not, one, gifting it, not selling it to the city, who wants to potentially sell it to somebody else, that duration, you'd want it covered, because it's their livelihood.
Other programs that do similar things have it covered too, but it's just someone's got to pay for it. So is there any other policy that we potentially could seek, you think? Or is it just this is our only option, is having this?
This one's through the city, it would go
Oh.
under the city's policy.
Okay, this already exists,
Yeah,
this one, okay. What's that one called?
it was just called their property in the open policy.
Okay,
It might have a more official name, but that's the name that Nate gave me for it.
so this is something that already exists, and would be.
I don't know what exactly it already covers.
Okay.
City property, oh,
Got two questions.
But-
When you're done. Just
Oh,
wanted to
you
let
have a
know.
question? Okay. Go ahead. Randy.
Oh, okay. One, if we're willing to buy the pieces, which would be far more expensive than the $10,000 deductible, couldn't we just make a donation to set aside for an emergency if there's, you know, wouldn't that be actually less expensive for, if they wanted to contribute to the arts pro, and
Ultimately, what would you say the goal of the GBNLC is here? Is it just to have more sculpture?
It's helped to get more art
Yeah.
out in the neighborhoods and in the
So
city.
that's what we're looking to do,
Yeah.
right? We just want
Yeah.
more sculpture
So if they-
in the neighborhoods.
if they would say, we'll put up the 10,000 for the deductible,
That would be.
that would be
good.
cheaper.
And that's not even money that needs to be paid outright. You know,
Right.
That's money
It'd be
that
just
would
money
It's
be-
set
just a
aside.
liability, it's just
Right.
set aside.
Yeah,
I feel like we need to make this rotating arts program more accessible to the artists through this insurance thing. So I think that's our bottleneck. If we start allocating money for permanent sculpture, I think that's awesome. I think that's fantastic, but maybe that's a little bit, maybe we're not quite there yet.
Sure.
So.
we do want to have pads for permanent sculptures. I mean, we're working
Absolutely.
on that, yeah.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, if we did go with buying the sculptures, could we still do a rotating thing where after a year, sell the sculpture and then make room for another, and then buy another sculpture?
Sounds complicated.
Is that a business the city wants to get involved in?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that, come on, you know, art
Oh, if I get a
creator
submission?
and- Yeah, right, yeah. So, I don't know.
Especially if we buy the sculpture with federal dollars and then we sell it, then it gets complicated.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
I wonder if we could maybe, if can't, if it's gonna take a while to get the rotating up and going, if we can do like a permanent,
But what's the value of?
but
Okay.
then we get the rotating going, we take it from that spot that we wanted rotating and put it in a different permanent spot where we were gonna put permanent stuff. Move it.
that still seems complicated to me.
I guess that's kind of what this painted pyramid thing, not pyramid.
Oh, and that was
but-
the other thing I wanted to know is there insurance issues with that?
Well, I mean, they're just plywood construction that we're building, so if they get busted, they get busted.
Yeah.
Basically.
So, I think let's back out for a second. Ultimately, you guys want more sculpture in your neighborhoods. That's exactly what we want to do. So we're trying to find the cheapest way to get as many sculptures up as possible. If we start buying them, that depletes our
Budget quickly.
reservoir pretty quick. So if we can make a robust rotating arts application and package for the artist that includes insurance, we already have lots of sculpture that can go out already. So we had 2 artists back out because of the insurance policy themselves. One of them, another gentleman that backed out, is willing to put up again if the insurance policy is more robust. So that's 3 sculptures already that if we acquire this insurance, or if we're able to. So worst case scenario is just we find $10,000 that we can put in a fund or something, so that if something happens, we have that deductible covered.
One comment though, so purchasing the sculptures, that would be done through a separate pot of money, separate from the GBPA. That would be CDBG dollars. I don't think CDBG dollars can be used to fund the rotating arts program.
Okay, so we're talking about
So-
completely.
Yeah, we're talking, and yeah, sorry, when you're talking about insurance, I'm not thinking about CDBG dollars anymore, because there's no way that's gonna fly.
Okay.
I'm looking at GBNLC dollars, but then in my head, we would have to get approval from the entire membership to spend our money that we want to spend on art, on insurance.
Sure.
So that's something that.
It might be a
would
hard
have to
sell.
It might be a hard sell.
But I think if a few of us were there, like explaining the situation, to me it makes sense, and hopefully we can make it make sense to the group.
Sure. I think, what would be your thoughts of, well, I suppose this would really change a lot of things then, because if there's a way to include the community or aspects of the sculpture that the artist is creating to include community.
So in that case, the artist would be prompted by the community of what they would want.
Right. Or if there's aspects of the design that or the sculpture that the community can partake in helping to
Yeah, we
assemble
would send out a
or.
call for artists and have the emphasis be on a collaborative aspect. in it.
Potentially. I mean, ultimately, I think the autonomy would rest with the GBPAC.
Right. It would. Yeah. Everything would have to fly through the
So it'd be an
GBPAC.
emphasis, and would the GBNLC say neighborhood, like one of the pieces that we approve for we have a location in Starlight, say.
Yeah.
And we approve a piece to go in there. Would the Starlight, board of directors for the neighborhoods, group, would they be able to veto that? Is that what you're suggesting, or?
No.
Okay.
I think they should be part of the decision.
But I think it should be part of the discussion.
Discussion, sure.
But I don't
Yeah.
think they should have any kind of veto power.
Okay. I would say that's okay. I think it'd be part of the discussion. Maybe they wouldn't even have voting power, but that
Just
would be.
taking their input, and then also if there's aspects of the creation of the sculpture that
think
can
that'd be great.
incorporate the neighborhood
that would
or
get them
community
input.
members.
Okay.
Right.
So, so it sounds like what we're leaning towards is taking some of that GBNLC money and potentially making this $10,000 deductible go away, just putting it in a fund to help alleviate that if need be. Does that sound like
If they
we're?
agree to it.
If they would agree to it.
If they would agree to it.
This have to be sold to the.
We can also
membership.
say, one of the tag-ons of that would be, we would involve the GBNLC's leaders in the discussion of the pieces that would be designated for their neighborhoods.
Yeah, discussion, yeah, it's any way that we can incorporate community members involved in the process. You're not necessarily having, voting power on whether they want the piece in there or not, but just how do we incorporate the public in these
Sure.
public art pieces?
And is there a potential getting a sponsor for that $10,000 outside of the city?
That's what I'm wondering too. And is 10,000 enough? Is that all we need?
That's
to
the
decide?
deductible.
I know the deductible.
It's just for one piece.
Just for one piece though.
Is it, yeah, we have to find out if that $10,000 would be per piece, or,
Celestine says yes.
Sorry.
Per piece, 10,000 per?
It'd be per piece, so that sounds,
That's,
that changes the story for me.
Right.
I feel like the $10,000 might go, I mean, it would be good if it went towards the rotating arts program. But you're saying that it wouldn't, or?
So I came in late, so I'm not sure exactly where you are in your conversation.
We're talking about the property in the open insurance.
Right, insurance.
So
And
there's
so
a-
the losses, so let's say you have 3 pieces and the deductible is $10,000. And the issue comes in what is the value of those pieces? So when pieces come into the museum, there's a value already attached to those pieces with various, galleries and other exhibitions of artists like the artists from Canada. But if each one of those 3 pieces were damaged, and the artist said, yeah, these pieces are valued at $20,000, each one of those artists said $20,000, then it means the $10,000 deductible, because each one of those is a loss.
Right, but would that be a $10,000 deductible per piece, or would that be
Yeah.
$30,000 worth of, wow?
yes.
Potentially, I mean, depending on
If all
what the
three
value,
get
depending on what the
damaged,
value
right.
of the piece is.
Or
So,
a
Or
car.
or the amount of damage? Because it may, the
And you have
damage
damage, that's right.
wouldn't necessarily.
so another option, and I don't know, Laura, if you looked into this, is just acquiring our own insurance to cover the pieces for the rotating arts program. So I talked to an insurance lady who said that's possible, who was a State Farm agent, and she didn't know if State Farm was able to do that. So it would be essentially they would be giving insurance to cover the project for the entire rotating arts program, encompassing all 6 pads. And when we get 10, all 10 obviously would go up. But that's the type of insurance I think that would work best.
When I spoke with Vincent Urban and Walker, I got the sense that it was a dead end, basically, because it's difficult to insure art for that reason that Celsi said.
Yeah.
It's-
So,
Yeah.
so can we ask, can we go outside of that Vincent Urban and look at different insurance policies? Or is that?
I mean, we can, it's just that we have our liability insurance through them, so if we can go through one.
It would be interesting to see. I mean, this is not new. Other cities have public art.
Yeah.
Other cities
Yeah.
have rotating arts programs, so I'd be curious to see what they do.
They've done it under inland marine policy. So inland marine is basically property insurance for things that are traveling. It's called inland marine because like cargo ships, when you have cargo, it's moving, you still want to make sure that it's protected, even though you don't know where it is. So a lot of them use that policy. I don't know if this would be something that we could do a cap on, like we'll cover
Up to 15.
up to 15.
That might be good.
And then after that, you're kind of on your own.
Yeah.
I haven't spoke with artists as far as if that would be something acceptable for them.
Ned Kane said even something like that, like up to, would be good. So I think $15,000 would cover a lot of them. And for the really expensive ones, it would at least defray the majority. But I think that would be a really big step. So that's called inland marine insurance, huh? Do you know if our group has that insurance?
I'm sure they can. It's just like, it's basically a different policy.
So
I don't know the cost though. I'd have to ask about it, but I can ask.
what are the thoughts here? Like, do we want to pursue this inland marine insurance type thing, or the $10,000 deductible per piece sounds terrible.
Yeah.
So
So,
we
you
should-
know, rather than reinvent the wheel, if other cities are succeeding, why don't we?
Well, when other cities have programs like this, they're put on by nonprofits. So, and that's like their sole program. They only do
artwork.
artwork that's rotating. So their whole budget goes towards stuff like this, and they can get sponsors to fund just that. Whereas we're trying to do rotating, an annual grant, and eventually a maintenance plan, and all of these other things.
But still,
With the
though-
umbrella of the city on top of it.
So then we would become a nonprofit, is what we're.
I don't know.
Yeah,
We're not there yet. I mean,
Okay,
not there now. The city is though, is not-for-profit, but that, to me, that's irrelevant. If they have insurance, what type of insurance do they have? Can we get that insurance?
I just don't know our budget-wise, if we're at a point where we can swing that. We can barely swing having me here.
Sure.
Well, I think it'd be good to know, though,
Yes.
at least just to have the numbers of what these other communities that are doing this or taking for what they're paying, what that policy looks like, and if that's something that's feasible or attainable for us to do.
And I was asking, I talked to Celestine, who's in Colorado, and they have a program like this. But I can ask for specific numbers
That would be
on
great.
theirs.
Yeah.
And then I'll get an estimate for what it would cost for $15,000 coverage.
Okay. That sound good? Maybe like a few different insurance places?
You know, there are like arts organizations that give grants. I'm wondering if that's a potential funding or even the humanities. Just wondering, you know.
I think, so I mean, it sounds like I'll keep plugging into the insurance and figure out more, but what do we want to do in the meantime? We have empty pads. Do we want to do this painted pyramid program that I proposed? Because this is kind of the point of it. I don't mind researching further into insurance, as fun as it is. And I can keep doing that for our rotating program. But we have to admit that the
Right.
rotating program is not working right now, so we need something to fill those pads temporarily.
So there's a few things. So there's the pyramids, so let's get that out of the way. I think we should discuss that. That's what the majority of the item is about. So we've made one already. It's at my house. And it's 8 feet tall. It's cool looking. I mean, even not painted, it looks cool. So if we could get paintings on there, do you have a picture of that?
I saw some pictures somewhere.
Did you? Okay. So they're relatively inexpensive, and they're made out of pressure-treated lumber. So once we get our pads look like with sculpture on them, we could still do something with them. They wouldn't be gone. So it's an investment that's not very high that I think would put more public artwork out there. It would take care of this leg.
Yeah. And that's
So-
basically what this is. Not a space filler, but essentially a space filler in the meantime until we get insurance, that'll figure it out.
I love it. I think it's a good idea. You know, it's like moving graffiti, you know.
And it could be something that in the future, if we get more pads put in and we don't have any artists lined up, we can slap one of them up there. It can be something that maybe it's the prelude to our next change out and we have new artists paint them again.
And then we can use that as a promotion, you know, because we had the sturgeon thing, and then we had was it butterflies, or, you know, it's sort of the same idea, it helps promotes the city. I like that idea.
Okay. The other thing is, I have a sculpture that I'm willing to put up there and not get the $500, and just have a space. It's a 8.5 foot tall piece made out of recycled square tubing. Okay, and there's 3 lines going around, and I'm willing to put this up and install it for no charge, and just to put something up. So this is one piece, one image.
And the insurance doesn't,
Doesn't bother me.
okay.
So it's 3 lines of square tubing that are welded in this continuous line.
Can you see it, Tiffany?
It's cool. I really like that.
So that is taking up space in the studio. So
We can store it for you.
yeah, I'm happy to put it out there, like without any type of anything. So, but we need to approve that if we want to do it.
I motion that we approve the sculpture that's being donated.
And the pyramids? Or should they be 2 separate motions?
No, it would be in the same,
Oh.
motion. This was,
Yes.
I think the intention of this agenda item was just to discuss what do we do with these pads.
And the pyramids.
Okay, and with the pyramids, Is there some way we get the community involved? I mean, like, can we?
Absolutely.
Some of the schools maybe?
That's the plan is, because I have in the application, or in the attachments, there's a call for artists. And I've been meeting with Kim Chinook from the public school system.
Oh, okay.
And this is something that I would definitely pass their way, and maybe students can develop teams. And it might be a little tricky since it's still summer.
It's a great
but
idea.
If you want to send it to some of your
Yeah,
kids too.
yeah. Just
Because then-
organizations, yeah.
Because it's open to artist teams, it doesn't have to be one sole artist doing these.
Cool. So, the motion.
So let me understand,
Second.
and then let me understand, the pads are already there?
Yeah,
They've been there.
yeah.
No? Okay.
So, there's a motion to
How about human sculpture?
sculpture and the pyramids.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Okay.
So Laura, you already have, you're gonna put verbiage as to how to apply and all that kind of stuff for this pyramid?
That was the attachment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you have a chance, please review it one last time, check it out, because I'm gonna send it out before the end of the
It
week.
looks great.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I saw that, I just didn't know that would include the school.
So we have,
Yeah.
Everything.
we want to
Oh.
vote here actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
Swipe to unlock the screen. Yeah, wait, no, I'm abstaining.
For pyramids, you're abstaining?
Yes,
Okay.
because of this sculpture.
Oh, yes.
Okay, item number 2, discuss with possible action.
Just, is there anything else for?
Well, I'm not really on the agenda.
No.
So I just,
Right.
really, I
Close
just,
the floor, are you?
yeah, and you're.
No, the floor was never open, stacked, you know.
Oh, yeah, communication or something like that?
Oh,
As far as, I don't know, Dennis or Dan didn't give us a deadline for developing that program. I don't know if you guys want us to come back in like 2 months or something.
How about
Yeah.
and just
we have
update
a-
you?
That'd be
Yeah.
fine. Also, we'd be happy to come to your meeting and to talk
Sure.
about this, whenever
Yeah.
that is.
yeah, well, yeah, so Laura and I are still gonna kind of tasked with developing the program for this
Sure.
$50,000 and involving the neighborhood. Well, and so we'll be back with that.
Okay.
But I just, my office is right next to Laura, and so I hear her struggle with this issue. And I'm like, is there anything that the GBNLC can do to help with this?
That was so-
A lot of mumbling.
So,
No,
anyway,
that's
great. Thank you.
Do you make any recordings?
No, I should not.
Thank you for your suggestion.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Item number 2, discuss with possible action on approving new logo design for the
What happened to number one?
GBPAC. We did 4 first.
Right.
And then everything just got
Oh,
bumped.
I see. Okay,
then next
I
will
get
be-
you, I get you.
yeah.
I'm following now.
So, we've all looked at the proposed new logo?
Yep.
Yes.
Is there a reason to change the logo?
A designer reached out to me and he said he would do it in kind. So,
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess what we need to decide is if we feel this proposed logo is better, and if we feel it is, we can have it for free. So Matt is a professional website and logo designer. Oh, maybe Laura, you can explain it better than me.
Matt Van Booming, he works with Wild Blue, which is a marketing company or firm in Green Bay. He's a graduate of the University of Green Bay. And he reached out to me a while back saying, hey, I really enjoy the mission of the PAC. I love what you guys are doing. And he just wanted to give us kind of a new and cleaner, updated look for us. So I met with him, he discussed the logo a little bit more and how we could kind of help with that. He would help us create kind of marketing materials going forward, which would be very helpful for me. And then I would work upon your approval. I'd be working with him on kind of developing, unveiling of the new look, the new design, which we were thinking about rolling out in October since it'll be our 2-year birthday.
Discussion?
So this would be sort of, it's an opinion, basically, as far as, I like it. And I also like what we had before too. So then that would be the discussion is,
It'd be nice to see him side by side.
Yeah, I'm trying to get
I
that.
think you're doing. I think
the old one was the bridge.
Bridge.
The bridge,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing I like about the bridge is that it ties it to Green Bay. This is clean, it's simple, but this could be anywhere. Which I guess it depends on what do we want to convey.
And that was something that Matt had actually, he made kind of the opposite argument as far as the bridge. I mean, anyone can claim the bridge for their logo.
So this is what it currently is.
Now, I can see incorporating that into that. You know what I mean? I don't,
Incorporating.
I don't know if we want to start mashing logos together. It's kind of Frankenstein.
I think with the logo that we currently have, if anything, that Green Bay is kind of difficult to read on the top.
Yeah, I was just, that's what I was thinking too. It's kind
But the
of
stylized
obscure.
bridge, if you liked that, if you want to keep that, that could be a standalone, you know? And this is good too. It has a lot of ingenuity in it, and it's clean that way. But I think the only challenge with this other logo is really the Green Bay Public Arts Commission, the way it's lined out. But it is its own standout logo right now. It is stylized and artistic, and that is a big landmark in Green Bay too, so.
I see more art with our current logo, and this doesn't really say art to me. But maybe we don't need our logo to scream art. It's a discussion.
Was Matt open to discussion at all, or was?
Yeah.
So I wonder if the bridge was superimposed in some way onto this new one, because I kind of like it. I mean, it's simple. It's less.
I like it, but it's cleaner. It prints well, both in color and in black and white. And then, I mean, in the,
Then you can do different kinds of things
I
with
really
it.
want that bag.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The marketing component is huge. I think we do need to market ourselves better, and we can
Yeah.
do that through like a sleek logo.
So I see
So I
the
want to
bridge.
pursue this.
Cutting through here. You
And
know?
like you said, maybe we could add like a more simplified or whatever,
yeah, some kind of
pared
graphic
down
like.
bridge behind it or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
So, yeah, we take this and then we like just take all
Stencil
the
it
other
in.
stuff out and then we just use the bridge across there. I think that would be even more exciting. But yeah, I like what he's doing here.
So you're creating a bridge from the old logo to the new logo.
Yeah.
I can send
Bingo.
the suggestion to him and see what he comes up with, and then I can bring it to him.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So,
I'd like to at least look at it, but I don't know, I still kind of like this too. I mean, the bridge is Green Bay, but if you ask somebody for a Green Bay landmark, there's only one landmark they're gonna mention.
yeah, right.
That's true.
We're not putting that on there.
I know, and I got no problem with that. But I mean, so to say the bridge, is a Green Bay identifier, it's really not.
But
But we could make, I mean, that's.
I would disagree. I think it is. Like when I see that bridge on stuff, I immediately think Green Bay because we wouldn't by far not be the first people to use this as an icon for Green Bay.
You know, the news channels, they feel strongly enough about the bridge that most of them have it somewhere in their backgrounds or their opening credits.
Yeah, it's part of our skyline.
But definitely other cities have similar bridges too, so.
Okay.
Very true.
So can we get a motion to
Continue this,
continue the discussion with Matt based on our recommendations?
I second.
We need to specify those recommendations.
Recommendations being the implementation, incorporation of the existing bridge somehow into it. And then it would be great to have Matt maybe show up at our next meeting in September.
Yeah, he wasn't able to make it to this one,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I'll see if he can this week.
So maybe we can make a more finalized discussion then in September. Okay, there's a motion. Is there a
Yep.
second?
I motioned it.
Yep.
oh, you want a second?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Very good. Number 2, discussion. Sorry,
I don't know if you were going to do
I
it.
know, I don't see it here.
nothing popped up.
Oh, I got
Do you want us to do on the pads, just?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Right.
So she'll pop it up. She just needs to write it in.
Okay.
Okay, great. Discussion with possible action on approving of Rusty Wolf's rotating arts program application. So if you click on that, you click right on the agenda item, and then you can pull up his.
Images and everything, the whole application.
Yeah.
There's nothing on the application that says the cost. That application looks different from the other applications.
This is a rotating art program. This is an annual
Oh,
grant.
right.
He's
Yeah.
not, he doesn't need to
Yeah.
submit a budget or anything like that.
Ah.
This is just for,
Just
the
a
temporary.
$500.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
He's a Marinette-based artist. His application got sent in through, I think his gallery manager. So I think that's why there isn't as much detailed information in there. But I like his piece.
It's a
I think
pyramid.
Awesome.
It's a pyramid.
Yeah, maybe I do.
We
get
got
into
the
it.
theme here going.
I think it's a strong piece, and I think he has a lot of really great work. I know
Yeah.
you had visited his website.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of, I mean, he does paintings and sculptures. He's very skilled, very talented artist. I don't think the question is whether or not we want this piece. I think it's how we can have this piece, since our program is busted currently.
Well, we have a program existing, and we just don't have the robust insurance. And right now, the application doesn't say that we have the insurance, so I think he applied knowing exactly.
But every time I give I
Contract.
get turned down so much. I feel like I'm in high school again.
Well,
I send out the contracts, and they're like, no.
yeah.
And that's not a good reputation for us, I feel.
No.
Mhm.
So I don't want to tell him, like, yes, we want you in our program, here's the contract, sign on, and then have them poof. So I don't know where that puts us with this.
Well, I think we need to send out the contract.
Or at least, could we, before we send the contract, let them know that, about the insurance
The
issue?
program is kind of in
And then
flux.
if they say.
I don't
okay,
think so.
No?
I think.
Just send the
it's-
contract?
Yeah, send the contract, because that's, the public, this rotating arts program right now is a functioning program. And if they commit to the contract, then they're committing to the contract.
Okay.
And then if he comes back saying, no, I'm sorry, I can't sign this, then we can have the conversation.
Mhm.
Okay, well, let's figure out how we can make this happen, and we're working on the insurance piece.
Right.
So we'll just cross that bridge
This
when
isn't
we
the
get there.
first time that
Bridge again.
Rusty's filled out these types of applications and signed contracts. So I think let's say, well, first, we have to decide if we're gonna approve this piece. So, but then, yes, that would be the next step, is to send him the contract.
I motion to approve this piece.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Very good. Next.
No, we got it,
We're
no?
gonna-
Yes. Save. Thank you, Jessica. Okay, next item, discuss with possible action on Casey Early Krieger annual grant program application. Okay, so, I'd like to entertain a motion to open the floor.
Motion up to the floor.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Very good. Casey Early Krieger is here. Casey, would you like to come join us?
Where's the hot seat?
I don't fight strangers.
So, Casey, please state your full name and address, please.
Casey Blair Early Kruger, residing at 1138 Grignon Street, Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Okay. Is that?
From a vote.
Oh, yes, from
For the vote. So once the vote starts.
Yes. I'm trying to get back, I'm sorry. Right. So we all have Casey Early Krieger's annual grant program. We voted, well, we went through and evaluated it. Casey, can you, in a nutshell, give us a rundown of what you'd like to do?
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell.
Well, we have this fantastic event up and coming for artists of all types. And we want to create a piece that all these artists participating get to collaborate in, and it becomes its public art sculpture. So, you know, outdoors, something that is weatherable and fits with the iconography that has been developed around the Unhinged event. And we've been working around the image of a box hinge. So that's where we're going. The materials we're looking at are a combination of wood and steel, and keeping it really simple and clean with the essence of the materials so that there's just room for the artists to embellish beyond that surface. Clean, solid construction. And so the Unhinged logo is a hinge that is coming apart. And that's the basic form of what we're looking at producing. Is that enough of a nutshell?
Yes, that is.
Thorough nutshell.
Questions?
Okay, so I'm sorry, let me understand. So it's a piece that you're creating?
Yes.
It's a standalone piece?
Standalone public art sculpture.
And is this something that's going to be reused? Is this just a one-time piece, or is there a purpose for the piece? Is it for the event itself? I'm sorry, I'm asking a bunch of questions.
And I'm taking them all in.
Yeah, I'm just curious, what else with the piece?
Well, I believe it would only be, adorned by the artists that are participating in the event this one time. The event itself is something that we want to become a recurring thing. So it is an icon to that event and the concept of the event. But so maybe in the future there be other sculptures, and we see what the long-term success of it is. I have no doubt it would be a successful, wonderful piece.
So,
Thank you.
I also am privy to this project, and the sculpture that Casey would be making would be showcased somewhere in front of the actual location of the show until the show, and then at the show itself, that piece, as Casey mentioned, will be, all the artists will be painting it in some way. So it'll have the expression of all the artists participating in the Unhinged event on it. And then it'll stay out in public where it was. We don't really know if we're going to move it in or we're going to keep it out. It's going to be involved in the event one way or the other, but it's going to remain a public art piece throughout this year. This is our logo, the logo. I don't know if you checked it out. So
That's a really great logo.
the box hinge is right in the middle there.
So where's this event gonna be?
At this point, we're kind of bouncing around two locations, but it's looking heavily swayed towards Old Fort Howard Square.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm excited about this project and this event itself. Just curious about, what's the word? Whether it's for-profit, non-profit, you know what I mean? And how does that affect our role? I just want to make sure that people don't say, hey,
Right.
so we can approve it, but then somebody may come down and say, did we define whether or not it's appropriate in this environment?
Sure.
I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not sure what I'm asking,
Got those ones there?
but from the city standpoint of view, is this something okay, or?
When we donate to artists are operating a business for profit.
Yeah. Then I approve.
Well, yeah, I don't think
Well, I
there's,
got a couple. They can't find the picture anymore. The picture,
the box.
The whole
Of the
event is
Unhinged box.
structured around supporting artists doing what they do.
that one,
So,
yeah.
it's
So
not like they're putting themselves out on a limb to exhibit something and then they only get exposure or PR out of that. We're really supporting their creation and their sharing of their skills and talents.
So the Unhinged group right now is an LLC, so it's not for profit right now. they're functioning under the Green Bay Community Foundation, which is a not-for-profit. So they've partnered with Green Bay Community Foundation to have that relationship, because ultimately they'd like to be a 501c3. But that's a good point. Like, right now, they are an LLC, so let's just make sure that is known.
The hinge that's gonna be created, is this it, or is it could be different? Is it gonna be more than one hinge? Is it gonna be?
Similar. I mean, that it would be that one hinge, and just focusing on this form as a part of the logo being two halves, and that hinge pin being pulled
About
out.
6.5 feet tall, right?
Yeah, 6.5 feet tall.
Metal and wood?
Metal and wood, yeah.
So the base plate would be steel, the framework around would be steel, so you could weld it to the base plate. The insides might be wood.
With other, so like the holes in that would be still a hole, but cored out, and then a pipe sleeved in. And pipes that are welded to the outer frame of each leaf of the hinge. So heavy base plate, that picture just has one point of contact. There would probably be multiple points for more stability, and then the plate
Oh,
can be.
man, I love that one point of contact. That's unhinged.
Well.
Yeah, I love this sculpture right here. I'd want to buy that sculpture right there. I don't know, is it gonna be for sale?
Potentially, yeah.
So you need to step out so we can vote?
I have a couple quick comments first. First of all, just for the record, I'm also involved to a degree with Unhinged. I've helped a little bit with fundraising, so I'm going to abstain as well. Just a couple questions though. Can you explain the public art component a little bit more? Because it's going to be constructed at this event. I can't remember if it's a free event or if we're charging admission.
We are charging for admission.
Okay.
And I don't believe it'll actually be constructed at the event. It's going to
Okay.
be embellished.
Embellished at the
Yes,
event.
yeah.
And then after the event is finished, the piece is going where again?
Back out in front, we're hoping to work with the building owners to install a pad right in front
Okay,
of.
sorry, I missed that.
So, yeah.
Wasn't there something in the brochure though about some part of it being free to the public?
For Unhinged?
For the event?
The week after the actual event.
Okay.
That's one of the unique things about
That's
this,
true.
is that it's not just a one-night thing.
Mhm.
You know, these artists have put forth their work to present it,
Okay.
but we have volunteers that are going to help monitor the space for the week after, where artists' work will continue to be on display and for sale.
Including the sculpture that we're discussing right now.
Yeah.
So it does have a community
Yeah.
component.
Yeah, the entire week is going to be free, and anyone can, so I guess
That's really
technically.
neat, yeah.
Excellent.
That would be.
Great,
Exactly.
just wanted to make sure that was explained.
If-
Um,
Sorry.
Go for it.
If the piece is sold, then the LLC would benefit proceeds. Are you, the other pieces and the other collaborative artists and the individual pieces, are you taking a commission?
Yeah.
So again,
So Unhinged would be taking an 8% commission. Is it 8 or 15? I can't remember. It's either 8 or, let's just say 15, because I can't remember. So which is insignificant really. So, but yes, they would be profiting from the sales of the artwork.
Even a gallery on a low end takes like a 30% commission, depending where it is, it can be up to 60% commission. So
But-
this
but-
is all about supporting the artists.
It's true, yeah, but they will receive that money. So, how much are you asking for?
500.
Yeah, isn't it a very reasonable
$500.
amount?
Yeah,
No, it'd be the same as a rotating art program sculpture, and that's on display for a year, right?
I thought the application was asking for 1,000. Oh, no, it is.
No, that's the total
the-
cost.
The
My bad.
budget is
Yeah.
I was like, I saw 1,000 somewhere.
$500, the
So it'd
total
be-
cost is $1,000.
With rotating, it'd be 500 for a year to have that displayed. But this would be displayed for much shorter than that.
Yeah, not a year. Probably to the end of this year maybe, or, Well, we should make a stipulation about that. How long would it be public art? So the event is October 6th.
Yeah.
How long do they let you have it?
Probably as long as we wanted to, but if it gets sold,
Does it
Yeah,
need
It
to
would
be
have to be
sold by
cleared up
us?
at the building.
If you want this to be an annual event, what if that was like your mascot or something?
Or, yeah, true.
I don't know. I guess,
Is that a collaboration that you artists?
well, I think we need to define how long we would like it, if we're gonna be funding it, how long we want it to be in the public.
I think that would be good to, have it defined that it must be viewed for a certain amount of time by the public. Or maybe with the sale, there's a stipulation that it be within view of public right of way. So
Yeah,
a private
upon
property
purchase,
owner
it
could
needs to
own
be
it,
displayed.
as long as they display it like on the front lawn, I don't know, on a, just outside their front door, near the street.
So that, I don't know if we wanna put a permanent stipulation on that piece.
On the purchase of it.
But I think we could
Yeah.
say, we want it up until like December or something like that.
Yeah, through the end of the year. I
think
mean, I'd be
we-
open to see, it's so close to the end of the year that, I mean, if it were to be the 2019 year, that would be cool, but not to impose on the site of the building.
Okay, so what would it, what
But,
would,
so like a minimum of to the end of the year, but could
It could
could
go
go
beyond.
through the following fiscal year.
okay. Yeah, we need to focus on the minimum, so is that what we want? The end of this year, the end of 2018?
So it'd be October, November, December.
Well, and before, so sometime in September, hopefully it goes up.
Is that defined already in our, do we have a stipulation already?
No, this is annual grant, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
kind of
Oh,
anything.
well, then, yeah. If there's nothing defined.
What do you think, Viv?
I think this is a really great opportunity. I think it's a great event and program for the community, and we're always looking for opportunities. The other ones haven't necessarily been working out really well. So even though this is a more costly investment, I suppose, for a donation, I think it's a good way to go from my standing. Yeah, especially if you have that minimum that you can both agree on, both parties can agree on. Yeah.
So, the motion would be to pass Casey's piece with the stipulation that it must be in public viewing until the end of 2018.
Correct. Do you guys need to step out, or?
We're just
They're just abstaining.
abstaining from.
Oh, I'm saying, okay.
Yeah.
So I move that we do, I move yes,
That we grant
that we grant.
the money with the stipulation that it's viewed until the end of the year.
Anybody second it?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, great.
We can probably have to do this on that.
Thank you.
You'll have to abstain on this.
Okay.
Have a wonderful day.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
We're
And,
excited.
yeah, we'll look forward to seeing some updates, and you can be in contact with Laura.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
send you all the
Yeah.
fun stuff.
And I'll be sending fun stuff your way shortly as well.
Awesome. Yeah.
I do have a public art piece that was purchased by the Mayor's Arts Council of Gillette, Wyoming. And just in overhearing the discussion, it was several years ago, but they did have a similar insurance policy that it only covered up to a certain amount. And I think it was $1,000.
1,000?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's an annual rotating arts program. The work is up for a year.
Mhm.
Lots of bronze casters.
Yeah.
in
And
there,
they
but
covered
mine
1,000?
was wood and steel. No, actually, it may have only been 500,
What is the
but
place again?
Gillette, Wyoming.
Gillette.
Yeah,
Okay.
spelled just like the razor.
Yeah. Cutting edge.
Yeah.
We'll check that out.
Cutting
Yeah.
edge.
Thanks.
Thank you, Casey.
Sure. Cutting edge.
Yeah, motion to close the floor.
Motion's made to close the floor. Is there a second?
Second?
Oh, we should have done that before we voted.
Oh.
do.
We always mess that up.
Okay, well,
It's
Motion to
a
close the floor by, I'll make motion to close the floor.
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we have to close.
Thanks.
Right.
Yep.
Thanks, Casey.
Oh, just one question. To be a member of the group, do you have to be unhinged?
That certainly become,
Yeah.
when you decide to become a part of the group, it's just a process of assimilation.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of inevitable.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks, Casey.
Thank you, guys.
Last motion is discuss with possible action, the approval of creating a letter of support for the Dennis Downs Trail Marker Tree Sculpture. Randy brought this to our attention, like 5 months ago. Randy, is there an update on this piece?
Well, I've been trying to find out how, as far as I know, we still get to hear from the Ho Chunk Nation
Okay.
as to whether they're gonna fund this or not, and, I don't know if the letter will help, and if that funding falls through, I'm certain that the letter will help, because I do think it's a great sculpture, I do think it's something we wanna do, and I do think it's something that we could perhaps help with some other fundraising
Sure.
sources if that one falls through. So,
So this piece is not, definitely, it's not insured that it's gonna be coming here yet, so this
Right.
would help in that process.
Right.
Okay. We all have viewed the piece. Any discussion about this piece?
I think it would be a wonderful asset. And, you know, there's this tiny museum that stands out to me in Waconda, Illinois, outside of Chicago. And that's a very prominent start to their museum when you enter there. And then as you go in the exhibit, they have a little bit more of it. And they've also have other exhibits too. But it's a really important awareness to the general community about the Native American populations and how they would have used these trees as a bend over. And there's actually even a park, Ted Frisch, and I'm not sure if this is an official one, but it seems to have a similar tree to that.
they've done some of them out at East High.
Okay, so yeah.
Actual trees?
Yeah. He came a few years ago. He came and
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this tree was historic or if someone just bent it that way, but it would be a lovely contribution, so I'm in support of it.
Okay.
and it would bookmark a trail. I mean, the one is already done. Yeah. So so it would be the other bookend.
And this will set a precedent of the kinds of things that I would like to see us supporting the diversity in our community and just
Yes,
having that conversation, you know.
Totally.
absolutely.
Like a-
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, so that concludes our regular business informational. Chairman's report and project updates, I don't have anything for today. Coordinators report.
Can't you make something up?
Coordinators report and project updates.
First off, with the new remodel and everything, our Facebook page is kind of being absorbed into the community and economic development page, correct?
I didn't know entirely if that was getting absorbed too.
That's what I am wondering about.
Okay.
It seemed like it was a floor-wide agreement as far as everything is being put on one page for clean readability.
Okay.
Just because you got your office up here?
No, it'd be separate. I think,
It's like a page within the page, as far as I've been told.
I think
I don't know Facebook well enough.
Yeah, well, we gotta figure that out, because I think we want to be,
Autonomy, yeah.
Yeah.
to show our own pictures and to kind of
I mean, we would-
brand ourselves.
Be able to, see this isn't things, I don't know.
I know that several of so for instance, we've got the Department of Community and Economic Development, we've got a Facebook page for that, we've got a Facebook page for Green Bay Planning, which is under that department. I think there might be one or two others even. And so I think the thought was to put all that under one, just for organization. You know, we could, if the GBPAC was also getting included into that one page, you know, Laura would still have that authority, the ability
Yeah,
to
I would
put out
still be able
everything and
to-
anything on behalf of the GBPAC.
But-
I'd still be developing the content that gets posted.
Right.
It's just,
But it'd be like a
We'd be
a group
maximizing-
in the page.
We would be maximizing our audience, would be a benefit to
yeah,
that.
for sure.
There'd be a
They
lot
have
more
like
That's true.
people.
12,000 followers or something, where I just hit 200.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that would add
Which
more
I was really
eyes.
excited about.
That's a great
Yeah.
idea.
Thank you, 200 followers.
Yeah, if you have access to, update, then I think, and more eyes to see, I think that's great.
Yeah.
And every time that you make a post, do you like have our icon and stuff like that, or would you need to put that?
Well, it'd be its own page.
No, it's,
And it's part of a
I
group,
think
but you click
that's,
on
yeah,
it,
where it would
you get,
become kind of our logo. Would
yeah, would be, take precedent.
somehow
I
get
think it's-
connected in with
Or you have
it.
to watermark.
Yeah.
That would be a great idea, yeah, and then just have it, and that would develop a strong continuity
Yeah.
in our messaging.
I mean, I agree, we want our identity to remain intact and not get lost
Right.
Watered
with all this
down.
reorganization.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that would just be something we need to be mindful of moving forward with any posts.
They'd have to be very definite posts from the GBPAC, so watermarking and logo or whatever, but,
But more eyes and more awareness, I'm all for that. I think
Okay.
that's what Facebook's about.
that's true.
Do we have to motion or?
No.
no, it's just,
No.
yeah.
I'm just updating.
I thought
you
Facebook
guys.
was all about Russian trolls.
I know.
Fundraising, fundraising has been joyful. I've spoke with a lot of people, there's been a lot of names dropped, but no actual connections made to people who have the money. So speaking with a few other people, they suggested focusing on grants and foundations, reaching out to them, applying for grants, and just working on promotion. Since we are new, we get a lot of people saying, "What? Who are you? We have one of those?" So I've been working on reaching out to magazines, getting kind of articles written up about us. We should be having an article in Women's Magazine in the October issue, which is exciting. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. So that's kind of where the fundraising is at currently, is looking at grants. Celestine got a book on foundations in Wisconsin that I can kind of page through and see which ones are applicable to us. And then also, Alderman Brian Johnson, he put in a request or a communication to research a % for art policy. So I've been looking into that, and I think I'm going to be working with a few other people on that as well to develop a policy that fits our community. I reached out to Ann Katz to see if there were any similar cities that have policies that would work for us. So that's kind of in the working phase right now.
Have tasks been assigned to the research yet?
No.
Okay,
So I'm just kind of doing road research.
okay. So, but eventually that will happen, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think the plan is after that, after we kind of get our plan developed, it would be to send it out to the community, get their opinion on it, present it to you guys based off of their opinions, and then based off of what we decide here, then it would go to, would
I
it go
think
to
it's
RDA
actually
or-
the redevelopment authority,
Okay.
because that's where the communication was sent.
Yeah.
So that's probably where there will be the approval or the recommendation for approval, which then of course would eventually go to council.
Yep.
Is there a way that we could create a communication there between us and RDA? Just because I feel like I would like their proposal and recommendation to be as robust as possible, and we have a lot of information that can support the objective benefits of.
Well, that's why I'm working on it, and then I'm gonna be
Okay.
working with redevelopment as well.
Okay.
It
great.
just, it makes more sense to come from redevelopment rather than here, because of course we want to present for art with
Yeah,
the Public
that's
Arts
true.
Commission.
Right. No, that's great. That's really good news. That would be outstanding.
So I don't know when that's gonna all come together, but it's exciting
When was
that
the
it's.
communication made?
Communication was made,
Not this last
Last month?
council, well, yeah.
June, July.
June or July, I think. There was no
July,
deadline set on it, though.
I think it was July.
July.
Yeah, there was no deadline set on it, though. It'd be nice if it was
Started moving.
all kind of wrapped up before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Typically, if it goes from council to committee, it's the next committee meeting where they're gonna
Usually.
take it up.
Yeah. But they didn't.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Because even if there's no stipulation on referring to staff for 30 days, 60 days.
Yeah, it usually
It
goes,
usually goes to the committee that next site, whatever, following city council.
How's it shipping with already?
Okay.
so they may be,
So if they're doing.
they may
really
be working on it, because there's no, and that's one thing that is always, we gotta be careful about, and that, because things get lost, I've put in communications that went to the proper place, and they're working on it, but then
Yeah,
there's
it
no
did.
follow-up, you can get lost.
It did go to RDA and they approved the,
The director
like,
staff,
yeah.
so.
It
kept
just
involved.
hasn't been
Yeah.
officially, but I just taken it up.
Okay, so, yes.
And I'll corral it.
Great. Okay,
That you, or someone else you think would be helpful.
cool. Okay. Any other reports?
Yeah, also, so I know Will kind of touched on it before, but we have all been invited to the CP block party. This is that collaborative piece that he mentioned before. They're gonna be working on those little tiles at their block party. And I had asked if they wanted their proposal brought to this meeting, but we're holding it until next meeting. So, in September, I'll have that for you guys to discuss then.
Great.
But they're having their block party where they're gonna start working on the pieces then. So if you wanna go check it out, it sounds exciting.
Very good.
I'm excited about it. And then lastly, talking about block parties, I just got, what? Yeah, is that okay?
Yes, very right.
Um,
I was hoping you would.
I also got wrapped into a thing called Better Block. It's very exciting. I don't know a lot about it, but Matt can help.
So on September 21st and 22nd, the city is co-hosting the Better Block Project with On Broadway. This event is going to be located on Dousman Street between Broadway and Chestnut. It's a 2-day demonstration event where the community gets involved with taking an underutilized corridor and enhancing it for, we will be improving bicycle and pedestrian amenities. We'll be taking empty spaces and staging pop-up shops. We're going to take the 4 lanes of traffic and do a temporary road diet, I would call it. So the 2 outer lanes will be shut down and they'll be used for temporary bike lanes and pedestrian amenities. We'll have public art as a huge component of this. We're working closely with Laura to help secure some temporary pieces for public art in that area of the right-of-way. We want to do pop-up art galleries. So it's just about creating a great space.
So this is for all of 2019?
No. This is for 2 days. It's just the goal really is to show the community the potential of this space. It could be better. So I'm going to show you what it could look like.
What is the date of this again?
September 21st and 22nd. It's Friday and Saturday. Be recruiting volunteers to help make this happen. So you are all invited to.
If artists have ideas to do temporary artwork, is there any budget for that, or is that they have to fund their
We have a
own?
very limited budget, but there's
Because you mentioned
a little bit of money.
installation, temporary sculpture stuff. Like there's a number of groups now that are doing temporary sculpture stuff. It'd be cool to have them being represented at this time. But probably with that big on funding.
We might be able to help a little bit,
Okay.
but we really don't.
And this is for this year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is 1
A
month.
month. Cool.
Just one thing on this, I thought I'd seen this before. This is in Adelaide, it's not really Green Bay.
Oh, that's the block party, the other event.
Yeah, it's CP block.
2801 South Webster.
Sure, yeah, but these are different things.
Oh, well, I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yep,
I'm sorry, it's just,
mentioned that, yeah. This is super cool,
right,
man.
that I know, yeah.
Yeah, I hope it's super successful. And there's gonna be food and stuff, like.
Food, music, beer garden.
For September 21st, 22nd.
And the purpose again is to bring attention to, or,
Show the community the potential of underutilized space with underutilized business storefronts, doing pop-up businesses in there to show, how this could be used. And then also enhancing the bicycle and pedestrian amenities
cool.
and art, of course.
Very cool.
It's very important.
Yeah, big. Okay. Sweet.
We need volunteers, so hope to see you there helping us out. Talk to me for more information, and Laura, of course, too.
21st, is that a weekend?
Friday and Saturday.
Can you send me an email on that? info?
Yeah, me too.
Maybe all of
I
us.
can probably volunteer for like 2 hours. It's a pretty busy weekend, but that'd be fun.
Is the city coming up with the branding or is OBI?
We are partnering, so OBI is doing a lot of the work, but we are helping with some funding and manpower.
Just, what are the hours? Is it going late? Does it go late, or is it a late day
I
thing?
think the tentative hours are 10 to 10.
Cool. All right. Any other updates, Laura? No. Okie dokie. September 26th will be our next meeting. It'll be at 8 o'clock right here. So we'll see you all then. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good.
Laura, thank you
Oh,
for what you do.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Laura.
Jessica, do we have to vote on this?
No.
Okay. Great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.